Ready whenever.
Cool, you ready? Here we go. Let's do this. Then we're live at 6 in the morning. At what point was this a good idea?
I don't know. But I feel bad for, like, if this is the normal time for, like, I guess, everyone else is watching it.
You gotta feel it for the Americans who have to view a lot of Formula One content at stupid o'clock in the morning. Each and every time. All I know is I'm blurry-eyed, but it's F1 time. We've got 4 drivers starting on the softs and 2 on the hards. Oh, wow. Including Perez. Interesting. I really have nothing to say so far, just because I'm still struggling to be awake.
Hey, Mum, say hello. I literally woke up like probably 5 minutes. I put on my alarm for half 5. I woke up, turned it off, turned round, and I must have gone off again. And I woke up like 10 minutes ago, and I had to rush around getting dressed and everything else.
Yeah. No, today's one of the only times I didn't do that, actually, because I normally do that for work every morning. And today I was actually good. Surprisingly.
At least one of us was good.
Locking up the front when he was doing combined with braking and turning, he was locking up the inside front very easily, and that's what caused this issue in Q1. And there he is, Sergio Perez in the garage in a few moments' time.
Here we are. It is race time. Let's try and enjoy it. Oh, Perez is starting from the pit lane, I see. To be fair, we have missed like all of the pre-show, haven't we? Like,
Yes.
every single bit of it.
So he's got to use the speed of that car and be a little bit aggressive with his overtaking moves. 10 years for Lewis Hamilton as a Mercedes driver, 10 years for Toto Wolff too, and Mercedes starting second and third on the grid. A very, very impressive qualifying performance.
So, any predictions? Any at all?
Oh, I don't know. My brain is trying to think. I reckon Perez can get into the points again. Guaranteed in that Red Bull. Apart from that, I don't know. Hoping for a good Mercedes race.
Lead into turn one. Oh, he is. Okay, and Max has got Alonso and Hamilton on right behind him. Oh, Hamilton's going for it. Oh, don't be Leclerc. Don't be Leclerc. I'm sorry for Sainz fans, but please don't be Leclerc. So both Mercs 1-2. Who thought we'd be happy to be seeing that?
Yeah.
Of course, that does mean that if that Ferrari is beached into turn 3, that is going to be a safety car. It's still yellow in turn 1, sector 1.
Hmm. We love the F1. Haven't showed us the the graphics yet.
Yeah. Oh, the graphics look like they've just given up. It was like, no, we're not doing anything. Safety car, there you go. So that's going to allow Perez.
It is Charles Leclerc.
Oh, it's always Leclerc. I know what Matty's thinking right now.
I was gonna say 1 lap in.
Yeah, I'm not
He's
a
already
fanboy.
gone.
I'm just passionate.
He's probably going back to bed now. Like, yep.
He probably will
That's
be.
it.
He's probably had a hissy fit already, and he's walked out the room or something like that. Okay, so what's that Alpine doing? Is it changing wing? Or they're just getting rid of the soft
Potentially.
tyre? Okay. Why are they going for the hard Ocon? Okay, so he's got his mandatory stop out of the way, but there's no way the hard's going to go to the end or anything like that. If it does, it's just nuts.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So in fair, there's a bunch of them doing it. I wasn't expecting that. And Perez has got off the hard tyre as well. Okay. So it looks like everyone from Ocon downwards has pitted already.
Leclerc.
So what happened? Oh, he's turned in on Stroll, I think. Or Stroll hit him. I'm not really sure. Here we go. Above view. Yeah, I kind of feel sorry for Stroll on that one. What do you think?
Yeah, look, it was one of those ones you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
Lance didn't really give him a lot of room.
No, he didn't.
Kind of interlock the wheels.
Yeah.
So maybe
intention.
maybe that's Lance's fault.
Possibly. I kind of think he's pinched between Alonso and Leclerc, and well, we'll see what the steward say. I guess. Oh, I'm fighting yawns.
Don't start. I'm starting.
Okay, so quite eventful already, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Alonso trying to go around the outside of Hamilton. That was ambitious.
That was.
Sainz is in the fight there, though. And he was thinking about taking the pair of them.
Thought about it.
Yeah. Max had a good start, but tried to squeeze Russell, but that just didn't work, did it?
No. And you got the inside line.
Yeah. Championship-wise, Max did the wise thing there and just getting out of it a little bit, giving room to both. Hamilton gave him a slice of his own medicine from previous years there. But Max did the right thing by getting out of it, live another day, just gather some points.
It started.
Yeah, he pushed me off track. Oh, between the...
You're both as bad as each other.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's quite funny, to be honest, because the amount of times Max did it to Lewis. I mean, the other way around, Lewis would be saying the same thing. Okay, safety car ending. Can those Mercs stay ahead?
Good morning.
Of that sole Red Bull? What do you think?
I don't know.
I like that. Good morning, F1 fans.
As you can see, we're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Morning.
I need some of those Tom and Jerry, you know.
Yeah, the matchsticks.
Yeah.
Just stay awake, stay awake.
Quite a chill restart.
Yeah, very straightforward restart. George got on the power really early, sort of 3 corners before the end of the lap. And yeah, got the tyre temp and he's looking good.
I don't think we're going to be seeing any rain, though.
No. Well, looks pretty clear at the moment.
I'm going to go and check. Shut up, TikTok. I'm going to go and check my weather app, which I've got
Ew.
set to Melbourne, Australia.
Fine, yeah.
I don't think the Signs is going to be much in the fight in this, if I'm all honest.
But I hope that it isn't just like an easy pass for that Red Bull. Like, I want to see this fight for a little bit longer.
Yeah, agreed. Well, there is a little bit of rain around in the area, but we are talking minor spots. I mean, we are talking. If it rains, it'll be a miracle. Despite it being a very wet weekend at Melbourne Albert Park.
No worries, enjoy the race. Yeah, let us know if you have any thoughts on it during the race. Love to hear it.
And we appreciate the lurk.
I do.
Okay. At the front, you can already see that the Ferrari's falling back. The race pace from that car just isn't that good.
No.
So I think we want to see Alonso getting on the back of Sainz and trying to get past him before even DRS is activated.
It just looks like he's quite. Well, he's within DRS zone, but at the moment, it doesn't look that far away from him actually.
I've just noticed something odd.
What?
Perez pitted, didn't he?
Yes.
He was on the hard tyres. He's back on the hard tyres.
Did he put hard tyres, or did he?
He had hard tyres on when he started, so he must have pitted again for hard tyres. That doesn't seem right.
Maybe the graphics just haven't updated yet. I just realised that I haven't.
Entirely possible.
Anyway.
Definitely something funky going on there.
Hello, Nick. In.
Morning. Yeah, okay, look at how close Hamilton is really pushing George, and yeah.
Kind of want, as much as obviously I want the Red Bull stuff like the Mercedes, I kind of want Lewis to have a little bit of a race with George.
Yeah.
Test him a little bit. Ouch.
Can the Mercedes be smart enough to Hamilton to back up Max a little bit and still retain DRS with George, and just trying. The only way that Lewis is going to stay ahead of Max is with DRS, but put Max in a DRS train, a team DRS train. What do you think?
Potentially. Is it the 4 DRS zone this year, or is it still free?
Albon's dropping like a stone. Ooh.
A lot of
He's not
gravel.
out. He's not out yet, but he's definitely safety car.
There's a lot of
Oh.
gravel on track. A lot of gravel.
I've seen worse than that. That's a very light safety car.
I suppose it's they don't want to probably test the tyres too much.
Penalty for the safety car across the yellow line. He did.
If that was GT Sport, it'd be 3 seconds.
I know, right? I am surprised Albon hasn't got going again.
Maybe the front end of this car's a bit beached. Russell's in the pits.
Why? I suppose he's getting rid of a set of tyres. That seems odd. Hard tyres.
Mine's in the pits as well. Hamilton's leading the race.
Yeah, not for long, with Max behind him. Both McLarens are in the points.
Yep.
Hulk's in the points.
Yep.
Sainz is dropped. He must have pitted as well.
He did pit.
So I am a little bit surprised that Albon's still out, and he's crossed the track there. He's not meant to do that. He's supposed to go off. Oh. Ooh, that was lucky for the Alpine. See, the engine's running there.
Maybe they don't want to stress it out. Maybe.
It does seem a little bit odd to me still, though.
I don't know, maybe
If the engine's running like that, they typically do a spin turn and get going again, unless he's got
maybe,
some front
yeah, I was
wingage.
going to say maybe some damage, or maybe, I don't know, the gravel. Oh.
Do you know what? With Russell pitting, do you think that's a benefit or a screwed him? What do you think?
Well, like what you were saying, he's no longer got that option to DRS with George. Red flag?
That has screwed Russell.
I suppose that's to clean the track.
I wonder if that's barrier damage. Anyone who wants to tag us on Twitter, use the hashtag F1RST first.
Any memes?
Got to be barrier damage. Yeah, look at it. It's got to be. Oh, I think he's hit the wall.
And bounce back out.
Yeah. And Albon was running like 4th at the time. I knew he was running high, but I didn't think he was that high. I was about to comment saying Albon is running high, and then I saw him dropping. Which is about right, isn't it?
That must be surely because of the cleaning the track. Yeah, hence all that red flag definitely effed up, like, Russell. Maybe they thought, obviously.
It's the risk you take, pitting under a safety car. So that's benefited anyone who's in the top 6, I would imagine. So Hamilton, Verstappen, Alonso, Stroll, Gasly, and Hulk. He wants that front wing change, doesn't he?
Look, he's not 100% happy with it.
I'm wondering if he thinks he had contact with Max.
cars, drivers, engineers that thought strategy. You know, we can get in, we can put the hard tyre on, take it to the end of the race. It was a great call, but with a red flag, yeah, it's
Okay.
Ted Kravitz, down to you in the pit lane.
Yeah, we'll get onto that quandary, that red flag, safety car, do you pit, don't you pit in a second. But I thought that was interesting. The first thing,
I suppose that's the red flag's probably because of the safety concerns of marshals being on track.
look, are you sure it's all okay? It took a bit
Yeah.
of a hit, quite a hit, he said, against Max Verstappen. And so it did seem to be intact. George Russell. Poor George. Well, in the end, it was.
I'm of the generation that has seen cars on the side of the road under just waved yellows, and seeing gravel on the track and now throwing a safety car feels odd.
Hmm.
I can only think that the barrier is damaged, and since one car has already made it, they're going to definitely replace the barrier or something. So this is going to be a grid start again, isn't it?
Yep.
I believe so. I think the race director has the authority to put it to a grid start with the current positioning.
I can give you some information on that, actually, Ted. The red flag is because of the gravel that came back out onto
And you're right, it's because of the gravel. I've just said it. Which, to me, seems like a very light reason for a red flag. And does it me, or does George always look like he's one step away from crying, even if he's happy?
I mean, I don't blame him if he wants to cry now.
Mm.
Yeah, but George Russell's not the race director, Ted. 2 seconds.
Yeah, sorry, George, that screwed us. But let's do the most out of it. We can still go to the front on the podium or better.
Yeah, it's not your fault, guys. That was a good call.
Well, Henselman, we'll see what they do.
Well, it was before the red flag.
Yeah, maybe. What one would you prefer to see?
Look at the accident again.
I prefer to see a grid start.
Gravel did come out onto the track, and you're going through there.
I mean, that is a lot of gravel, but
I suppose it's because it's not the widest part of the circuit there, so.
Hulk was so lucky not to be collected there, wasn't he?
Hmm.
But to me, that's just literally 2 minutes with brooms.
Well, we can see more gravel there
Yeah.
on the track. It was the strategy call to make for George Russell, but sadly, it's been reversed a little bit now, and his teammate is back in the box seat.
Well, it is what it is. And I hate that statement. What's your thinking on the red flag, Sarah?
I'm like you, kind of like you. Like it's a very light reason, but I can see the reason behind it. Obviously, safety reasons, probably. Yes, don't want to risk anything.
But do you think they could have controlled it under double waved yellows? Safety car.
Yeah, I think maybe safety car. But then I don't know. There was only one real line to take, and if a driver didn't take that line, they just picked up a whole lot of gravel that wasn't there a minute ago.
True.
Seems like they're getting out. 10 minutes time.
Look, can you? Yeah. Well, when they have a safety car, they do tend to take the time. But the fun thing is, I'm just watching all of the marshals, and most of them are just kicking bits of gravel with their feet.
Comes a little sweeper. Little sweeper seems a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Like you said, surely like some brooms or something. Maybe they don't have brooms like around that bit.
Yeah. I honestly reckon 5 marshals with 5 brooms, a couple of minutes, not a problem. And they then have to give the teams time to reset for going again, that is fair enough. I get the delay and the time.
There's a little Ferrari just in a bush.
Yeah. Where that is where Martin Brundle famously crashed at turn 3 in 1996. He went in there upside down, and Alonso did it in 2015 odd, 2016 odd, didn't he?
Mm.
And we had a conversation about that one because he didn't realise how badly he was injured after it, and I think he had it was a collapsed lung, and he wasn't diagnosed with it for over a week after that barrel roll through there. And that body language from Leclerc there, it's just like, yeah, great.
He's probably so fed up.
It's not going to be his championship, is it?
Not with the current race pace of that Ferrari.
No. Have we seen any result for the investigation between him and Stroll yet?
Don't believe we have.
So that means you've got enough data from the first 2 days here, even though the conditions were so different, that you can be confident, shall we say, in your predictions there.
It's interesting from a psychological point of view, like the drivers have to reset and get ready to go again. Once you're in that zone, you can't not get out of it. So the red flag, them getting out of the car, speaking to people, like, potentially it'd be interesting to see if it's thrown off a few of the people.
Yeah. First off, I'm going to say, whomever is just subbed, I can't see who is subbed. Thank you very much, first of all, and I do urge you to do at least follow or sub the Miss Sarah Hawkey over there. On my screen, she's... Oh, Stevie Wonder! Oh, that's loud. Thank you, Stevie. Good morning.
Morning.
Sorry, that was really loud. And the teams have procedures for the restarts like this, and they have scenarios run for everything but via their computers. They're going to know what to do from here in terms of the optimal strategy, but I don't think Russell, even the supercomputers, ever envisioned being in sixth behind a Haas. It's a bit odd, isn't it? Okay, Stevie. Stevie's given us the muscles.
Muscles.
And we've got Koulios too. Morning, Koulios. Morning, Stevie. Haven't got the shout out command added on this one, but I can still do it. So you do get a link, and just want to show my gratitude. That's still working. Stevie said code brown for Albon. Yeah, quite simply put. Bit strange that the blue one doesn't work. That one works. I've left like 5 redeems on just so you can change the colour of the lights. I think Koulios is going to cycle through them all. Weirdly enough, that was in time with the purple background.
this is Lewis is probably thinking right now.
Right.
This is great.
Grid start. What?
However, he doesn't have the help of his teammate in front of him, so he can have DRS to toe up to the back of him. He's got Max
You done?
who can get DRS.
You just choose one colour. Choose one.
Stick with it. Oh, turn them off.
No. I mean, it might be interesting to see another good start.
Yeah, I mean, they did that in Hungary a couple of years ago. Do you remember when Lewis was the only one to take the grid?
Yeah. He's just on his own.
Yeah, that was a red flag. So, Stevie says he's trying to have a disco. Well, I've only got 2 lights back there. It's not a very good disco. I've got the Australian flag, though. And a tyre.
And we're tired.
Do you know, I'm not even going to make fun of it. I am that tired. It's just like, I'm going to let that one go. But update, we do have Alonso with the fastest lap currently.
Ooh.
So this is what happened to Albon. Shame his camera's been a bit flaky. Yeah, the back end just went, nope. So he does jolt forwards a bit. I'm still surprised he went out with that. I mean, that is a big impact, but to me it looks like he's just taken the front wing off. Ah, no, the back wing's gone as well. Somehow he's hit the back as well. Or is that a rear wing failure? Oh, that would be interesting. And Kyrgios hasn't been to sleep. Yes, you do need to fix your sleep pattern.
So you need some sleep.
Oh, wow. I'm calling it now. That might be a Albon rear wing failure. Unless he's managed to clip the rear while spinning after the initial impact, that rear wing was flopping around. Hulkenberg for his first podium? What do you think? Wishful thinking? A little bit.
I was gonna say, unless like the whole people like the people in front of him just fire or do something. Maybe.
All right. If there's going to be an incident on this first lap restart, who's it going to be between?
Max and Lewis.
Yeah.
That
was my answer as well. I was just looking at it going, how can I get Hulkenberg a podium? Take those 2 out. Stroll or DNF somehow anyway. I don't know if it counts as them having to had a pit stop in terms of the, changing to different tyres. Well, saying it, I think Lewis is on hard tyres, so that probably is going to count. Yeah, okay, hard tyre. What's Max gone on to?
looks like hards as well.
Yeah. I think there's a set of softs there at the back. Whoever that is. I think that's a McLaren. Stevie says he thinks Albon had dirty tyres from the corner before. Yeah, definitely possible. He was on the grass.
Did they say mention if it was going to be a good start or a safety car restart?
Not that I've heard.
Safety car is out.
Yeah, Stevie says Hamilton and Verstappen on hards. I think most of the field are going to be, but wait for the graphic to update.
Lando and Oscar running in the points. I predicted to a very partisan group of home fans earlier that Oscar would definitely get points today. Just trying to help me, get out, without getting too much shouted at, but it can happen.
Wait, is it more than 10 car lengths? Look, check it.
And he's referring there to, is Lewis Hamilton more than 10 car lengths away from Bernd Mailander in the safety car?
I think the problem is that because they think we're starting on the grid, you suddenly think that you're in control of the lap to grid, but it isn't. It's still a safety car start, so you have to stay close to the safety car.
Yeah, the rule says be within 10 car lengths.
Apparently, De Vries and Sargent are on mediums, everyone else is on hards.
Okay, interesting.
Away. That just shows you sometimes, doesn't it, how sharp the minds of a Formula One driver is.
They gone racing already?
No, not yet.
You sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure? They've gone racing. They sped up. And there's no
Yeah.
safety car.
We're not racing yet. It's too
You
slow.
sure?
That's sure.
Oh no, yeah, no. I see now. Because I saw it and they're just speeding up. I was like,
Just
Swear.
getting some heat in the tyres. And our Dutch correspondent has just said, according to Dutch TV, grid start.
oh,
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Oh.
oh,
A bunch of them just.
oh.
Okay, that was just plain idiotic. Why have half the cars just stopped on turn 5?
No, but whoever went through the gravel, the marshals are probably like,
Yes. Yeah. You bastard. Excuse me.
just clean that up.
Yeah. I think that was De Vries. Oh,
That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
The restart procedure is under investigation. There's the medical car right at the rear. The mechanics have done their job whilst the cars have been in the pit lane. We have been stationary for 16 minutes, and now it's time to get going again. For part 2 of the Australian
Let's do this.
2023 lights out.
Okay, is Max going to get into P1? Not by the first corner, but we're going to have Alonso trying to go around the outside. Okay, Max is going to be super racy here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stroll's fallen back quite badly, actually. Perhaps he's being cautious for a change.
Perhaps.
Oh, that's a flying Haas. I think that... No, it wasn't a Haas. It looked like the same from the front.
Yeah, with the white nose, yeah.
I think Hulk has fallen back, though. Yeah, Hulk has fallen way back.
The graphics. Which bit are you referring to, Koulios? About what happened? If it was just us going, ooh, it's because a lot of, like, 5 of them bunched up and had to slam their brakes on. And one just cut across the gravel.
Yeah, a load of cars just stopped.
Literally. Stopped.
Yeah, I mean, they were barely even rolling. Okay. Gasly's up into P4. That's a hell of a showing from the AlphaTauri so far. But he's going to have a very mega and peeved off Russell, I think. He's going to be wanting to get on the back of this quickly, isn't he?
Yeah.
So what happened to Hulkenberg? Okay, one of the McLarens had a touch from, I think, Sonoda. It could be De Vries. The other the remaining Ferrari nearly went up the back of that same McLaren. Am I just mistaken on Hulk, or is he actually just still up somewhere at the front?
Yeah, I think he's still like 7th. All little hit.
I'm having trouble picking apart the Haas from the AlphaTauri, I think.
Definitely from that front on view.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well done, Kudos, for staying up to watch this. Right, as soon as Max has DRS, I think this race is bye-bye.
Yeah.
You can see how close he can be to Hamilton, even in the dirty air. That Red Bull is just mega, isn't it?
It seems to be at the moment.
Yeah, and now it's got this long straight down into the fast flick chicane.
Oh.
That was too easy. I mean, that's a hell of a pass, but that was just too easy.
Hmm.
I kind of think that's race over, I'm afraid, in terms of the win.
Potentially. Already got a 2-second gap.
Disappearing off into an Australian sunset is Max Verstappen, and look, we know that Red Bull's got pace, we know the DRS is effective, but just look how effective it is here. This is one of the more easier overtakes Max Verstappen has ever had on Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, it was easy, wasn't it? I mean, it's such a long straight there.
Yeah, there was literally nothing Lewis could have done about that.
Aided, of course, by the headwind on that straight, which gives you a bit more of an advantage, but oh dear. A bit like Jeddah 2 weeks ago. George is going to have a run now at Gasly in exactly the same place as Max overtook Lewis. George Russell trying to get back towards the top of the field where he was leading this race in the early stages and can't quite get wheel to wheel with Gasly. He's almost pushing him along, going through turns 9 and 10. Now he's got DRS once more, as has Stroll behind him. Gasly's under pressure from 1 and 2 cars here as George Russell makes the move, and Lance Stroll just has to sit behind him. Russell up to 4th, Gasly in 5th, Stroll currently 6th, but
Gasly's doing pretty well.
Gasly hang on here.
Yeah, it was a lot more difficult, wasn't it, for George to get past. The DRS is nowhere near as effective.
Yeah, he's still running in 5th, but obviously George has got past him. Turn 3 incident. Ocon and De Vries. Pulls and collision, no okay, nothing required. That's when we saw De Vries go up in the air.
Yeah.
Gaining now on Nico Hulkenberg as Sergio Perez tries to make some moves at the rear of the field. That's Logan Sargent on his left. That's Logan Sargent now behind him. Perez now up into 15th.
That was a lovely move because it was really
Hi, Roses.
because Logan Sargent had DRS. So late move there by Checo. He seemed to sort his braking problem out.
So Nico Hulkenberg behind.
And yes, we were doing the pre-GP to about me time. That is correct.
And getting after Lance Stroll.
And then we were up again at 5:30.
Well, I put my alarm on for 5:30. Turned it off. Rolled over. And I think I lost about 20 minutes again.
Half of us were up at 5:30. Oh, it looks like the Mercedes is a lot handier around here compared to previous races. So Saudi and Bahrain. Can we get a Hamilton Russell 2-3?
Potentially. Yes. Yeah, we're knackered. Studios.
Admittedly, I'm usually at work at this point already in the morning, but it's still never nice getting up early for your day off.
I was like, yeah, I was on the road this time yesterday, like, on the way to work. Like, I could do with more sleep.
Okay, Sainz is recovering up to 6th, but still not a good weekend for Ferrari. Stroll is really falling back. I wasn't expecting to see that given the pace of the Aston Martins.
I mean, he did DNF last race, didn't he?
Don't pass there, don't pass there.
Oh.
I would not like to have... Never go wheel-to-wheel K-Mag in a fast corner, because you will end up... The likelihood of dying is quite high.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's enough room to pass there.
Well, I think Kevin had to get out of the way.
Oh.
Front wing of Piastri taking a bit of a knock.
At that particular moment. So, Fernando Alonso still sat behind Lewis Hamilton.
1.5 between, well, just over a second between Hamilton and Alonso, and then about 1.5 from Alonso to Russell. I can tell you now, Koulos, that's not actually a smart thing to do.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
That is what is called hunger strike.
Yeah, and your body won't like it.
Back to the F1 action. Oh, is that Perez again? Yeah. If Perez wants a shot at the championship this year, he has got to get up to at least 5th, hasn't he? Oh, and nearly went off.
Whoa. I was like me in the pre-GP last night.
I kept doing that in the qualifying, actually. I mean, the qualifying, I was allowed out of the pits.
Did you see the thing on Discord?
Yeah.
I laughed at that when I sent it.
Yeah. So Max was complaining about Lewis being not close enough behind the safety car. They're always complaining at each other, those two.
Good start though. I'm in to park up anyway.
Max disappeared as much as I thought
Did
he was going
Gasly
to.
just overtake Russell?
Russell's falling back. You are right. He's got 2 or 3 play. Oh, he's got a puncher or something. Yeah, that's fire. Well spotted. Ooh, that's a. This is probably going to be another safety car because that is going to be stopping in the pit lane. Yeah, that's a safety car. Ooh, jump out, jump out.
Yeah, jump out, George, jump out.
It's not quite as spectacular as that Ferrari fire back in Austria
No.
last year, but get out. He wants to try and save as many components from that engine, that power unit as possible, because that's all budget.
I didn't realise that Mercedes put a pop and bang remap on their car.
I didn't realise they had a mobile barbecue. Oh god, the memes are going to be coming now, aren't they?
They're literally spraying George with that stuff as well. He just stood there
I don't think he cares at this point.
when it
So, yeah,
started.
coming out of the penultimate corner. There it goes. See, says it's safety car Sunday. Yeah, it does feel like that. That does look like a remap to a pop and bang thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. It spits flames. Imagine that, getting close to one of them, like, if one of these safety cars did that all the time. Just get behind them and like, pop, bit of fire.
I wonder if that is more. That, to me, it looks like it's fuel or oil, potentially.
Potentially, yeah. It's in and
I don't-
around the exhaust.
Yeah, so I don't think it's an outright failure of the power unit. Maybe a small component or a pipe.
Maybe.
Oh, they did that under virtual safety car.
Well, he was at the end of the pits, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm just a bit surprised. Stevie says he could have noticed it and gone into the pits.
He was past the pits at that point, I think. When it was like.
By the time it started going, he was on the back straight. It was as Crofty did say, he did have Stroll on his inside of the corner at the time, so he couldn't just wipe across. But yeah, he could have possibly gone on the pit lane, possibly. Okay, so for virtual safety car, DRS is enabled straight away, I believe. Trying a yawn, fighting a yawn. Woo. Alonso is losing time through the fast chicane, but he's actually just lost about a quarter of a second. That can all be down to battery harvesting, regeneration, aerodynamic drag from the car in front, all sorts. He's not going to frighten Ocon off the road with that one. Okay, so where do we think this race is going? What on-track action is going to be best? What do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
How about we say battle for second and watching Perez see how far up he gets?
Probably. Yeah. Other than
I
that,
think, yeah, Hulk for podium's not going to happen.
fortunately not, I don't think. Unless all of the front one is.
Perez, stop passing into there, please. You're going to give me a mental hernia. That is sketchy, that pass.
no further action. Sonoda and Piastri for that little.
I haven't actually seen the result for the opening lap investigation with Stroll and Leclerc. But I presume that was deemed a racing incident.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen anything about it, so.
This pass here just feels sketchy. I do not like it. It looks great, but after racing that track last night for 60, 70 laps, you're like, that's not really a braking spot to overtake, is it?
No.
I still haven't got used to the fact Gasly is in an Alpine.
No, but he seems to be doing quite well. This race especially.
Stevie, to answer your statement there, he says Checo still needs to change compounds. I believe he actually pitted on lap 1 under the safety car, but he went back to hard tyres. So, well, that being the case, he hasn't gone to a second compound yet. That would make sense, yeah.
Maybe he's seen how far up he can get. Come in.
Yeah. You can definitely see how much grip that Red Bull's got, though, can't you? Running outside of Piastri.
So Piastri also had DRS then, just like Checo, and they had that speed difference.
How are Red Bull exploiting DRS more than?
Yeah, he has only used hards. That is correct.
Their engine is more powerful. Is there something in the design of that car?
Yeah, I think the McLaren's pretty draggy when you compare it to Tsunoda in front. He hasn't got near to him, even though Piastri's had DRS.
So the McLaren tractors seem to be heading backwards a little bit now.
Yeah.
I can hear the enthusiasm, Sarah. Dear God. That Red Bull in DRS conditions is just mental.
Yeah, it is.
On tyres that they hope will go to the end of the race for Sergio Perez. He's making up for lost time, and still we are not even at half race distance yet. With Max Verstappen, Perez's teammate.
I wouldn't be too surprised if they leave Verstappen, well, anyone from, say, even Norris upwards, try and get them to do the rest of the race on the hard tyres. But I wouldn't be too surprised if about 10 laps to the end, we see Perez go medium or even soft tyres.
Yeah, I mean,
2 seconds a lap faster than everyone else.
yeah, I mean, why not? Like, what's he got to lose?
It's roughly, 22 seconds for a pit stop time loss? So, yeah, you need to leave it for about 12, 13 laps to make sure he gets all the time back. And then by then, he'll get an extra point for the fastest lap. That's my big brain.
I would say Max will probably still want to take it off of him, but
yeah, he'll want to build a gap and pit, and with 1 lap to go, 2 laps to go. He's not pulling away from Hamilton as fast as I thought he would. He's only 5.2 ahead.
But still, 5.2 ahead, like.
Yeah. I mean, either Max is coasting, or that is Merck's faster than what I thought. Hamilton's complaining about his tyres, and the world keeps revolving. Dive bombs today. Signs on Gasly. There's something with the race direction today where they seem to be joining a lot of moves just as they're happening.
Yeah, like halfway through.
Yeah, it's almost perfect, but it's not quite. They needed to be doing it 50 yards, 100 yards to it earlier. Then again, that is a dive bomb. That was good. Clean. Probably scared the bejesus out of Gasly.
We are seeing it again here with Esteban Ocon. So Oscar Piastri thinks, I'd rather need to get past Yuki Tsunoda here just to protect myself a little bit. And, well, Ocon is all over the rear wing of that McLaren. Piastri in Jeddah was fighting with his teammate Logan Sargent. Today he's fighting in the points with that car there, Yuki Tsunoda, and that pink car there, Esteban Ocon. So, with some DRS, Piastri make a move going into turn one. They would love that in the packed grandstands. As into turn one we go now, and Tsunoda just holds on out in front. And now that he's cleared Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz lapping.
Okay, so we've got a battle for 10th here. It'd be nice to see Piastri get some points on his debut for Grand Prix.
It's so frustrating when you don't have that straight line speed to make the move, because he's obviously a lot faster. His teammate Lando Norris is up in P8 and lapping quite a bit quicker, almost a second quicker than these guys.
Has to be said though, for McLaren, last in the Constructors' Championship and pointless in the first two races of the
Promise Piastri's sandwich between Tsunoda and Ocon.
in the points. As here goes Esteban
That is a dangerous place to be, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Behave. Do you know what? That was good. I agree with you, Stevie. I think Piastri is a little bit cautious. But if he's playing the long game, might come to him. I doubt getting past is part of the long game.
Efficiency has to be one of them, because that was extraordinary to see a car that much quicker when they both have DRS. But it's good to see that the pace is there in the car, though. Lando's lapping at a very good pace. He's lapping the same as Carlos Sainz.
Well, we saw Lando Norris in the latter stages in
So
Bahrain.
I'm surprised we're seeing Sainz has come back through the field so well. Do you reckon he can catch Alonso and Hamilton? And I do agree, Stevie. Piastri being a rookie, he's better to be cautious.
It's such a difficult point of the race. I mean, if you're fighting with a car in front, yeah, you give it.
Morning, Pedro.
Because you want to get past them.
And then
If you're in clear air, it's like, do I push? Do I not?
you're late.
So many laps to go, and they don't really know this tyre
I was wondering where he was.
And I'm like half asleep. Blame you.
Oh, Ocon running outside. Yeah, I do agree with you, Stevie. Being his home race and his first time there, and a rookie, especially, is a little bit cautious. Hopefully, he's not so cautious and looks a little bit scared, but it's fine line.
Everything going tired a bit. Race wise.
Depending on who you support.
Yeah. I don't know how much you've seen of it.
Ooh.
Little putt from Carlos.
Yeah, Jensen just said it was curb. It did look like curb smoke, but also it's worrying when you see a Ferrari do that.
I'm only joking, Pedro, don't worry. Yeah, I don't know how much have you seen of the race. We're 28 laps in. Currently we
Talk about it. Leave now.
I don't want to like spoil it for you if you haven't or about to watch it.
I think we're doing all right, Pedro, but we are weary.
Going back to bed after this.
Yeah, I'll be going back for an hour or two myself. We'll get the post-race stuff done quickly.
That was me just before the podcast as well. I literally woke up 5 minutes before, brushed to get ready, and then like Rosette appeared. I was like, "Not me." Oh.
Okay, Perez up to 9th, so he's got a couple of points so far. From his after that, it's 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Yeah, I reckon he can get fifth easily.
But it's up to you, Pedro. Would you like us to run down what happened or?
So Lewis Hamilton, who before the virtual safety car was coming under increasing pressure from Fernando Alonso, has had that 2-second buffer.
I'll say, if you don't want to talk about it, you're in the wrong
Yes,
place, I'm afraid.
I was gonna say.
Now though, he's reduced that gap.
I didn't know if he wanted to see clips of it later or started watching it.
Yuki Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri.
Ooh, that was good from Piastri.
Nice one, Oscar. You see the billboards around.
I think passes running outside there look much more natural than ones down the inside, which looks scary.
Yeah. No, Pedro, it's up to you. I know what's happened.
Well, if you choose to stay here, we will be talking about it. So, yeah. Ooh. Also, talking about the Ferrari's race pace, that Alfa Romeo's race pace didn't like great. No, it really doesn't, does it? The Alphas don't even appear on my radar anymore, if I'm brutally honest. Just because,
Wait for it to be Audi or it will be.
yeah, I mean, they're in that point where they are waiting for further investment.
It is weird to see Bottas so far down though.
Well, it's the pain he's going to have to go through to stay there until Audi take over.
We can do a summary. We just didn't know if you wanted to watch it live. Well, like Midnight said, we'll be talking about it, so it's up to you if you wanna. I guess watch the race without spoilers, or you want us to tell you? You want to listen because we'll be talking about it. I mean, you could probably guess who's leading. That's just yes.
Yeah, that one's just semi-obvious. Question for you, Sarah.
Yep. It is, yes.
You're wearing it, I'm not. Where's mine? Hang on. See, I'm wearing it too.
Yeah. It's the first thing that was there because I had like 5 minutes. I just.
It's
I was like,
really
bum, bum, bum,
warm,
bum,
though,
bum.
isn't it? It's really warm when you're cold and it's first thing in the morning. You're like, ooh. It's like a
Mm.
blanket.
Well, yours is a hoodie, mine's only a t-shirt.
I thought you had a hoodie. 1 hour, I remember. The hoodie is really warm. It's kind of making me think I want to get back into bed, actually.
Don't fall asleep on me.
Yeah, I won't do that. You're all good. So Sainz is catching up to the back of Alonso.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm not going to put it past him. I reckon, and I'm surprised by this. We could be on for a P2 for Sainz.
P2.
P2. I mean, look, he's right there.
Oh, yeah, true.
And I am as equally as stunned at that statement as anyone else.
Potentially, yeah.
If you look at it from P2 down to...
Well, the graphic said a minute ago, Perez to Alonso is only 10 seconds.
Yeah. So an extra second and a half. 11 odd seconds from 2 to 9. Are we going to see these hard tyres go so long? I hope not.
They did go quite long in the last race? Race before.
One question I've been asked multiple times is, how long can a set of tyres go? Yes.
The hards look more, I guess, durable this year than what they have done past few years.
They look faster as well compared to mediums used. The comparison's dropped.
Because if we were to think about it, like 2 years ago, if you said, will the hards last the whole race? We've been like, no. They would have the pit.
Well, it's also one of those things. You can technically get a set of softs to last the entire race. It just depends on how fast you go, how much you use them.
And how fast you want to go.
Yeah. If you push too hard, you'll go slower. Eventually, anyway. So, when I say yes, yeah, they will make it. Won't necessarily be the most thrilling race in the world. I think it was, where was it? Like Singapore? It was a few years ago. We had the leaders out just doing really stupidly slow lap times. And then Williams, which was one of the dog cars of that year, I mean, it was probably 3 or 4 seconds a lap off the pace, was then once it pitted, was then the fastest car on the track by about 3 seconds. Because the front cars were just saving tyres. And fair point, Bedry, yeah. Albon at this point last year, like, used the hard tyres like all race. But the tyres are a slightly different construction this year. What that means, nobody knows.
Well, they're saying that Sargent and Reese are still on mediums, but they are running bottom two. Obviously, they're not helping.
No.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Excuse me. Stevie says, damn, that AlphaTauri is slow. Between that and the Sauber, I'm disappointed by those cars. I mean, Bottas is literally 2 seconds ahead of Sargent, who was a rookie and in a Williams. So that's obviously the Alfa Romeo, but only just in front of that is Sonoda. Oh. Only Sonoda has an issue. Apparently he's managing an issue. What do you think that could be? Brakes? Overheating? Broken bit of wing, perhaps? Oh, here's K-Mag. Is he going to dive bomb? Yes. One thing I am really stunned by is, following our pre-GP last night, how accurate the game seems to the actual course from what we're seeing. I mean, I know the laser maps and all, but there's always discrepancies. This one looks genuinely good and close to the game. The game looks close to it, rather. Okay, Sargent with pit stop, 20 laps to the end. He's gone on to new hard tyres. Comes out in front of Max. And with regards to what Stevie said, Gasly must be happy he went to Alpine. Yeah.
Yeah. Quite well. I think wasn't it the first race we were all like, oh no. Like, because obviously he was put all the way back and then he climbed through the pack, so it seems to be working out in his favour so far.
Okay. If you're in the top 3 cars, excluding the leader, what do you do now?
I followed the lead then.
If you're second, third, or fourth, or even fifth in this case, what do you do? Do you stay out, go to the end, or do you pit in now and go for medium tyres? What would you do?
Oh, that's a difficult one. Like what they were saying, like if you pit now, you're gonna lose a lot of positions. And will they have enough time to make them up? If anyone, I think Max would try and build that gap and go for another compound. He can.
Max could do it. He will come out probably 7th or 8th, but he'll have the fastest car and soft tyres. Fresh soft tyres.
Yeah, it's good to see Hülkenberg and Lando in the points. With a shout out to Piastri. He's had he's had an alright race.
Yeah, he's done well. Pedro says Gasly's getting closer to Carlos. In my opinion, what is happening is Hamilton's holding up Alonso, Sainz, and then Gasly is closing in on Sainz, because Sainz actually passed Gasly initially to get there.
A little bit of a dive bomb, but it was seen.
True. I am actually very surprised Perez hasn't closed in more on Norris.
Yeah.
With that, also Perez definitely has to stop again.
I know it's obviously different tracks and different layout and stuff, but Max from 15th got to 2nd within 25 laps. Obviously, Perez right at the back. Seems to have taken him longer to get into the points. Maybe he's just happy where he is. So as long as he's in the points, it's something. But if he's got a championship to fight for,
Perez needs
maybe.
to be pushing hard if he wants to fight for that.
Do you rather get the feeling that we're just in this jabbing session for the next 10 laps or so?
Yeah, I mean, I know that we want to see more overtaking right now. You know, that's what racing's all about. But
The weird thing is, he's just not closing in on Lando.
and looking after the car and pushing it certain.
And we all know that McLaren is not in the same league as the Red Bull at the moment.
Ferrari now. It was the other way around 15, 20 laps.
And he could be charging his battery, but he hasn't exactly caught. Ocon's only, well, he's okay, he's 8 seconds behind him, but it was a number of laps ago that Perez went past him.
Yeah. Hey Joe, if you've seen who's running, you've seen who's not running.
We had any good memes from the race yet, Sarah?
Do you know what? I haven't looked. I should look now.
Oh, right. I just remembered.
Because our brains are not switched on this morning.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much, but you know.
You know. Tired. Matt Gallagher, right, the red flag was for gravel. Has the FIA ever heard of a broom?
Well, kind of what I said, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. George Russell, he's on his phone. He just tweeted, "When it's not your day, it's not your day."
Well, he's not wrong.
Where have you sent them, Pedro? Oh, I see them. I see them. I'll show them. Oh, Pedro, honestly, I literally just found that meme and I just saved it.
Okay, here goes Perez, finally. That's taken him a very long time, if you ask me.
got to say, with the pace that he's got, P6, P5, maybe even P4 still on for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think Lando did the right thing there. He didn't want to drive offline to try and block him, and he's just kept his tyres clean. But yeah, the fast lap of the race by Checo, obviously helped by the DRS, but that true pace 20.697. That's super quick.
It's when he gets that DRS, you think, well, okay, P4, that might be a podium, might even be possible too. Either way, he's very soon going to join the list of contenders, queuing up behind Fernando Alonso, and very soon we're going to see.
The longer we go without any of the top 10 pitting, the less we're going to see. Likely, we're going to see anything interesting.
Hmm.
It's just, I'm just wondering at what point they're going to go.
And I swear, Perez still needs to pit.
I can push them a little bit harder, and they're gonna have to push.
Because as Stevie said,
Car 11, another place gains for
we don't think he's actually been in anything but hard tyres yet.
into 7th. That was a little bit easier. It was a second and a half quicker than Hulkenberg on the
And don't know, Pedro. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Because that seems to be those top three, other than Max, just managing themselves.
Matt Gallagher said Hulkenberg is dangerously close to a podium position.
What, in 8th?
Yeah.
Off into the setting sun, chase after Stroll, nice and quickly to allow him to get past Nico Hulkenberg. Karun Chandok down to you at race control.
You know, Jensen was just asking about when they're going to let them off the leash. They've just told Fernando, your tyres look good, you can start pushing to the end now. So Mercedes have just been giving Lewis the gap. They haven't yet given him the hurry up, but I'm looking forward to seeing the pace. I mean, they're both dipped into the 120s now, haven't they, last lap? So, yeah, they're pushing on.
Yeah, Pedro. I mean, at the end of the day, if Lando can follow Perez through, it will help him out long term, rather than sitting there fighting and using up his tyres, which will then fall backwards.
Pierre Gasly, meanwhile, starting the game once again through that middle sector on Carlos Sainz.
We have seen a lot of good racecraft today. We haven't seen any too much in the way of wheel banging and whatnot, other than De Vries and what was it, Stroll? Stroll? It wasn't Stroll. I remember who it was, De Vries and someone.
Yeah.
Noda.
No, yeah. Yes, it was. No, was it Ocon?
One of them.
Eh.
Checo Perez, who went from 22nd and last on the grid here in 2012 to finish 8th, is now up to 7th. He also went from
Okay, so clearly none of the top 6, 5 at least want to pit again. Because they're worried about losing track position.
Through the field here, and he's setting after Lance Stroll, albeit just by a couple of tenths. He's closed that gap in the last lap. Andrea Stella watches on, the new team principal at McLaren, to see what young Lando Norris, Norris's 5th season in Formula One, can do about Nico Hulkenberg here.
Yeah, Fernando Alonso's purple first sector, personal best second sector. He is pushing. Be interesting to see how close he is to Lewis, whether he can get within that second DRS zone.
Yeah, when he gets under a second, that's when the speed starts to increase just that little bit more. Ted, down to you.
Right, before this gets tasty with Alonso pushing on Hamilton, George Russell has been speaking. We'll hear his interview after, but he said that he is pretty sure, almost certain in fact, that his tyres would have got to the end. There's the Alpha Tauri pitting onto the soft tyre.
There we go. Someone's having the
Is that Yuki or all right, so that means
parts to go.
there are mechanics from 2 teams, Crofty. What are the mechanics from
Let's go for the soft tyre. De Vries.
common in this race?
I mean, there's no point in him doing it, but why not, I suppose.
Not made any in-race pit stops. It was going to be Alpha.
Hooray! Hooray! That was great, Squidward. All those wrong notes you play made it sound more original.
What? I didn't play any wrong notes.
Yeah, see, you're when ordinarily it goes like this.
My camera isn't turned off, Pedro.
Oh, on my screen it is, sorry. Back. I think it's because I played a video on Twitter.
Oh,
How funny.
you turned it off.
No, I didn't mean to.
Well, I can do that too, you know. Hey, Flappy! Right, where are you? I'll find you. There you are. Nah, then you're back.
Waving a bit to try and get some temperature.
I saw that, you know.
He's either run wide, got them a little dirty from miles, or he is struggling for temperature.
And the track temperature has gone down under 30 degrees now. Let's just see if he did go a bit wide. Penultimate corner drags you in a bit, doesn't it?
Ooh, Max has gone off a little bit. He's just lost a couple of seconds.
It was a massively oversteering.
I bet he's going to say he's woke up now.
Wake up, yeah.
Front locking on a Red Bull. Where have we seen that this weekend, Jensen?
I mean, that was a big moment. It wasn't just lock up and drive back on. He had a massive oversteer coming back on and lost a couple of seconds. Oh, he lost almost 4 seconds to Lewis behind him.
But the thing is, Checo, as we saw in practice and as we saw in qualifying, was having front locking issues. And suddenly, that nice, comfortable Sunday afternoon that Max Verstappen is enjoying, that just looks a bit more like he's had too much Sunday roast and he's got that little feeling in his belly that, oh dear, all is not completely right. We'll see if the struggles continue. Front locking issues, potentially. Lewis Hamilton responding to Fernando Alonso's increased pace as he wants to get second and Fernando Alonso wants to get second. And Kylie's absolutely loving it here. She should be so lucky that she attends the Australian Grand Prix on a day like this. 10 laps to go, and we have 3 world champions.
There's a video, that one though. Just FYI.
The podium. Hungary 2018. We've got battles all over this track, including this one. Lando Norris on Nico Hulkenberg, and Norris is a lot closer now with Hulkenberg losing that DRS advantage behind Sergio Perez. Norris has got DRS. He's going for it down into turn 1. He's just a bit too far back.
Yeah, he's going to struggle. We've seen how draggy the McLaren seems around here, or is running more downforce. But he's going to have many more chances, I think, around this lap. I think
Yeah, that's fair.
And that extra DRS zone they put in has made turn 9 an overtaking opportunity now at high speed.
It has. He had a little wiggle coming out of 4, so I think he's probably lost a little bit.
So yeah, good morning to Flappy. Thank you for joining us on this
Morning.
F1 Australian Grand Prix watch along. You know us too. It's a bit of it's another not classic, but there is a lot of action throughout the field. And we do have Norris going for Hulkenberg. He's going to try. Oh, that could have ended up in a crash. Okay, I'm clearly missing something because Perez, Stevie, has Perez gone on to any other tyre, any other compounder tyre? Because I thought you started on the hard and has only been on the hard tyres. And I think Hulkenberg might get a penalty for that because that might be moving too late. What do you think?
Maybe.
Hulkenberg's race engineer. Lance Stroll is 3.5 seconds behind Pierre Gasly, maybe settling for 6, but Sergio Perez is coming at him by about half a second a lap. Behind Sergio Perez, Hulkenberg and Norris, the battle we're focusing on here. Ocon currently in the points.
Seems a little bit dry for memes in this one, doesn't it?
A little bit. Okay, I'm looking.
Well, not your fault. I can only presume that somewhere Perez has gone on to a medium tyre for like 1 lap.
Mm. If not, that just seems confusing.
Yeah. And clearly, the rest of the field aren't trying to just go to the end, just manage the tyres. And this is the Formula One that I don't like.
Hmm.
Is when you're just managing things.
Pierre Gasly has dropped back from Carlos Sainz. He's out of DRS range. Whoever your driver of the day is, get your voting quick. 6 laps you got till the voting closes.
Apparently, Checo has used the hards, then mediums for like 1 lap or so. Okay, so don't know where he did that.
This time he's got a lot closer. This time he's going wheel to wheel. This time he's got ahead. Lando Norris goes past Hulkenberg.
Oh.
Off onto the gravel for good measure. And at the third time of asking, he was so lucky.
Thank you for the info, Pedro. But where he did it, I can't figure out because I know he pitted at the end of lap 1.
He must have, before the safety car, like before the red flag, must have gone on mediums and then was back on hards.
Or he's gone out under the safety car. I don't know. I don't know where he's done it. In the first couple of laps. He must have pitted under the safety car. So you're like, okay, well, if he's done it, he's done it. Okay, so that's Hulkenberg. That was partially off the road. Now he's going to be... Well, he might have Ocon for company afterwards. And Stevie says, nice racing, Lando.
I think Hulk might think slightly different.
Okay. Pedro says the first 2 stops were before lap 10. So he's clearly gone hard, medium, back onto hard again. And probably changed or left the hard tyres on at the red flag. Interesting.
The one that is a standout at the moment that's losing a bit of time is Pierre Gasly. He was a second slower or 9/10 slower than Sainz and half a second slower than Stroll behind him. So he's finding it a little bit tricky at the moment.
Well, Otmar Safnauer telling us those tyres were going to last to the end. I think the end can't come soon enough, the way that Stroll is now closing in on Gasly. Could be a 3rd and 5th for Aston Martin, could be a 4th for Carlos Sainz, could be for what, the 34th time in Formula One of Verstappen and Hamilton 1-2 in either order. And it is the end of the day for that man there, Kevin Magnussen, who's...
What did Kevin do? He's driving with 3 wheels and
that looks like he's hit something.
Will you be carrying on?
That will be a safety car. Oh, and now he's right next to a... No,
There's
that's a safety
tyre.
car.
Yeah.
If anyone's got any sense, someone's going to put on a set of soft tyres and go nuts for the last lap.
And why not?
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm not surprised, Jensen. I thought that safety car might have been flashed a little while before.
Safety car with, is it 4 laps to go? 5 laps. Oh, 4 laps to go.
Right. So what happens here? Safety car. We've got...
Ooh, this race could suddenly come alive.
Alonso running really close together. You can't see Hamilton pitting because then Alonso would stay out just in case we run to the safety car to the end of this race. Verstappen doesn't look like he's pitted. 13 seconds you lose under the virtual safety car or the safety car rather than like a 22 seconds. Piastri, if we do get any racing here, is going to be right on the fringes of the points behind Esteban.
Okay, so some drivers are going to go for this. And that is Hamilton.
Oh. Oh yes.
No, he stayed out.
Oh.
It was just a dummy.
It could have worked out. Oh.
Problem is, there are too many cars there that will jump him in the pits. So, okay, what's happened to K-Mag here? Oh, he's just hit the wall.
That tyre
He's
just
hit
went.
the wall. The tyre went, I'm out.
I'm out. See ya. Thank you very much.
Well, he wasn't in the points anyway, but still, that's a fairly rookie error, isn't it? And I agree with you, Stevie. It might very well finish under safety car. Yeah, I agree with Pedro as well. I think K-Mag's going to be quite upset with himself.
Christ, he carried on for so long.
Well, he was clearly thinking of Hamilton in, I think, what was it, 20... Ooh, it was either 2019 or 2020 when he won with 3 wheels. He was like, I can do this. Of course, Lewis is saying that there's so much debris out here because he doesn't want the race to restart. Flag.
Red flag.
Going to be a 3-lap sprint to the end.
No. Either that or they're just gonna leave it there.
Okay, we've got qualifying session, 3 laps to the end. Well, we'll go round again, and then we'll get laps 57 and 58.
Pedro, by the way, this is best.
No.
That's why we were a bit like,
Right, so it's lap 56 now. They'll go around, complete that. They will do a restart on lap 57, so we're going to get a 2-lap sprint.
That doesn't seem worth it.
It'll be entertaining, at least.
Entertaining, but it just doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very surprised by this because we might see a Hamilton dive bomb into turn 1. We might, yes, God forbid, I mean, early prediction of Hamilton and Verstappen coming together. We might still see an Alonso win.
Is it going to be a good start or is it going to be a safety car restart?
I think it's going to be a restart again, same as last one. If I remember correctly, the race director does have the authority to choose.
Just stay in the car.
Yeah, I probably would have, because getting out it'd be distracting from a psychological point of view. You're probably better off answering this one. Is that more distracting than anything? Talking to all of these different people, going, "Oh, is it starting again?" and throwing your arms around, or just staying focused in the car.
Yeah, at this point they need to stay focused. They need to stay in the zone. So, like, the red flag at this point is probably going to throw them off.
And Stevie's quite rightly pointed out that Perez is the only one with fresh soft tyres. Will that give him any extra grip, though? We'll guess we'll find out. Well, at least we're pretty much guaranteed to see the lap 58 to be the fastest lap of the race. So if he gets that lap is going to get the point.
What?
And Flappy, what happened to Magnussen? He dropped a wheel into the wall. Put
Will
it
went.
bluntly.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, his wheel went. Whee! Yeah, that. Yeah, it wasn't even a particularly big incident. It's just that the tyre is sitting on the track and then the car's going that way.
Yeah, having a quick wait.
Yeah, he needs those extra calories to stay mentally juiced for the final 2 laps. I mean, this really could upset the entire race, so that even the win here. Pedro says this can only benefit Checo. Be careful what you say. Because there's one thing that F1 cars don't like. It's going through multiple starts with the same clutch for the grid starts. They do not like it. And who is to say that it's going to be a clean start? But we will see. I'm hoping for a clean one, but...
Do you know, I want Piastri to get at least a point. Like, pit Ocon, get a point, and that's... Why? 10 minutes, I want to go back.
Oh no. Stevie says, grid start or behind safety car? I would say grid start, like the last one. Did they drop those security strings attached to the wheels? No, they're called tethers. And what has happened with Magnussen's, the wheel is still attached. The tyre has come off. So it's literally deflated. And because he went down the car wall, it's gone down the outside. It's just pulled off the tyre from the rim. So we've got 8 minutes until the restart. So go and have a 6-minute snooze. Are there any good memes knocking about while we're waiting?
Do a little quick. I have to zoom in.
You see how much dry ice are blowing through the back of that McLaren there? That's quite interesting to me. I mean, these cars overheat so badly, even just sitting around. You've got to literally force feed cold air over the parts to stop them from melting. And there is the other Australian on the grid. Well, not on the grid, in the paddock that we care about.
afternoon. He's been saying on the radio the car is not very good, but only not in those words. And I think the engineer got back to him and said, just careful about your choice of words on the radio there, Logan. We'll discuss about it after. But he's currently not the last runner. That's Nick de Vries in P16.
97th birthday. It would have been for Sir Jack Brabham today, born in Sydney on this date in 1926. And of course,
Oh, come on.
gets awarded the
6 more minutes.
Sir Jack Brabham trophy. And an absolutely gorgeous trophy it is for the winners here in Albert Park. You know all about that, Jensen. You've stood on that podium, you've held that trophy aloft. And as it stands at the moment, 3 world champions on the podium, but anything could happen in the 2 laps that we have got here. And I wouldn't like to predict exactly what.
No. And I don't know what to say. Just so
F1 team on Twitter said,
there's been a lot of action.
"As in Wales and Australia, why is it always here?"
It is always Australia. I think it was Magnussen and Grosjean in the same race that both came out of the pits without bolts attached. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat now. It's not active yet, but we have the driver of the day link. If anyone wants to vote, I would recommend holding off until we have seen who is going to finish where. You can tell they're filling for time when as soon as Crofty starts talking about football.
Not that I'm tense about that match coming up whatsoever.
You support one of those teams?
See, my hands are shaking already. Let's go down to Ted Kravitz while I still can.
So I don't know if it's a little hammer, Crofty, that was loose in Lando Norris's cockpit, but something was. And his engineer Will Joseph's on the radio say, Lando, is that thing in your footwell still bothering you? And Lando says, well, yes, but I've sort of grown to get used to it over the last few laps. I think they were saying, look, you know, it's quite a job, isn't it, to get Lando out, to get the nose cone off, to try and...
Apparently Lando's had something floating around the cockpit with him. Always worries me when they got something like in there. I mean, if that's like a spanner or something like that, that jams underneath the brake pedal or something.
Look at this meme I'm about to say.
Are there a few knocking about now?
The last one. They got me.
Oh, that's a point. Oh, controversial. Abu Dhabi 21 is never far away from the forts, is it?
No, it just made me laugh. He's just standing there in the background like...
Ooh. I think I felt that one. I'm going to skip to that one now. Where is it? Yeah, I'm gonna let that sit there for a while on the screen. So if anyone's not going for soft tyres right now, I think they're going to be a bit daft. Okay, 2 minutes 10 seconds there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Gonna get there.
And then we're gonna blow through the breakdown fast as anything, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Good bit.
Oh, I mean, seriously, that one though, that mean.
Yeah, it's a bit. That's what made me laugh so much. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Ooh.
Did you see the Simpson one as well?
Yeah, I've had them cycling on display for a while. They've all made me giggle.
Alas, no. Oh, sorry, force the habit.
Yeah. The one with Elmo and Chaos is kind of accurate as well.
Yeah, I can't believe Alfa Romeo tweeted that. I was like,
So I don't think it's a Chaos Grand Prix, but it's not far from it, is it?
hmm.
It's just the first red flag was, in my opinion, not needed.
100%. A lot of people on Twitter saying like, why did the flag?
Yeah. But for the sake of consistency, if they red flagged for that in the first part, then Magnussen's car and tyre on the track, also a red flag.
Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know if it does it make sense restarting with 2 laps to go.
Glad they are, because we're getting this.
Oh yeah, no, I'm glad they are, but like, is it?
It seems a bit false, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
A lot of people on Twitter saying it's like just for the entertainment, like it's not really.
Well, it's in the rules, and we've seen this before. I can't remember what race it was, but we have seen something similar before.
Well, you know what race it is.
I can't remember, which one was it?
Oh no. Not a red flag and then restart. I was thinking like safety car, like then restarting.
Oh, that one, yeah. And Steve says this is going to be exciting. I hope so.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense with the red flag and then restarting with like two racing laps. But,
If they can, they've got the time and the laps to do it. The only issue is they have to finish the Grand Prix within 4 hours of the initial start time, scheduled start time, and I think it's like 3 hours of the actual start time. I think something like that. I mean, they change the rules every year, so. So dive on from Hamilton. Oh god, this is actually going to be a bit tense.
Pedro, we are a little bit behind. So
Yes, please.
hold up.
Anyone who is watching on Sky or Virgin or whoever, we're watching on the internet now, TV and whatnot, and it is up to a minute behind. So please, if there's a big crash, don't tell us. The only other thing that could happen right now is one of the cars blow up on the way to the grid or start raining. Right, we're also coming through the fast flick on the back of the circuit, coming down the back straight now. Okay, I want to see Piastri nick Ocon's spot.
Same.
And I want Sainz or Alonso to win.
Really?
Yeah. Just from the championship sake, if Verstappen wins this, it's basically over. Unless Red Bull stop developing the car next week. Which, I've made it quite public. I don't care for Red Bull that much, but I do think they are a fantastic entity in business. They are so good at what they do. And I think, despite the financial issue 2021, they're not going to do it again. They might find another loophole, but that's besides the point. The Aston Martin boys are a little bit hyped up. Oh, Alonso, don't get a penalty for parking out of position, whatever you do.
No, they widen the good places, like the good spots for this race.
No.
Mhm. You see how big they are? Look.
Yeah. Interesting. Here we go. It's lights out for the third time. 5 lights. Yeah, Verstappen's got into turn 1. Don't crash, don't crash. None of you crash. Oh, Alonso's gone. Oh, big crash. Big crash. That's another safety car.
And that's why you don't restart with 2
Oh
laps
my
to
God.
go.
This is amateur hour. Red flag.
Great job.
Alonso's
What was
still
the
going.
point? What was the point? What was the point?
Both Alpines. Whoa!
What was the point
Double point.
in that?
The double points for Red Bull, double points for McLaren, and double points for Alfa Romeo.
But considering how good of a race Gasly was having, what was the point in that restart?
Absolute carnage.
No, but at least F1 hopefully would have learned with 2 laps to go. Why the hell did you restart?
Hulkenberg P4.
That's dangerously close to a position, like a podium position.
Sarah,
What?
they might restart their race.
Why?
Oh dear God. Now that is okay. So who hit Alonso? Signs. Oh dear. I think Piastri's in. Yeah, Piastri's in the points now. So Signs. Okay, yeah, Signs has clunked Alonso, and then the Alpines hit each other. So Gasly's come across back on the track. The other Alpine's going around to the right of him. So it's always involving Ocon. I know it's not his particular fault on this one. All these cars will be classified at the end because they've gone over 90% of the race, but well, that's Gasly's fault, I think.
Ocon had nowhere to go.
Which one is Ocon and which one is Gasly?
That one. Yeah. The
I think Gasly's
replay, yeah, the replay we saw was of Ocon's point of view.
Yeah. Oh, Carlos.
He just outbroke himself.
And then Stroll just forgets to brake for T3. So what happened to Perez? Because he was 9th, and I think he's still 9th or something or other. And he was 7th. He it's a gravel. So he outbraked himself too. Oh, debris hitting the halo there.
Is it though, Pedro? Because he didn't look like he had a lot of room. It's difficult.
Stewards restart procedure under investigation. Are they investigating themselves or the drivers?
They need to investigate themselves. What was the point in that?
Well, if they hadn't have crashed, that could have been a beautiful final couple of laps.
Please don't restart again. I want to go to bed.
I think well, there's no point.
It's 58, yeah.
There's literally no point. They literally go around to start grid.
Uh-huh. Ow. We were on lap 56. And then obviously 57 coming back in. How are we
Yeah.
on 58?
Hang on, yeah, they went out on lap 56. So they did that lap. 57 was starting. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. Because they went out, did lap 56 as part of the formation lap. 57 was this one.
Oh.
And 58 will have to be another procession lap. Alonso is technically right there.
What did he
When
say?
there's a red flag, the rule is you count back 2 laps before you take the positions from 2 laps before. And Pedro, I don't think they're going to start again because the formation lap will be the final lap.
No, but if like what Alonso just said, then they just that would just seem like a shit show if they just inverted the positions, started again.
It is the rule though. It's been there for decades. One of the last times I ever saw it was like Brazil 2003, where Giancarlo Fisichella took Raikkonen with a lap or so to go, and then there was a massive crash from Webber, which Alonso then crashed into and caused a red flag. And then they ended up giving Raikkonen the victory on countback. But then it was ruled that was incorrect, but that's besides the point. But the Fisichella did pick up the win.
Mm.
So Red Bull stand to gain a lot from this because Perez was 7th on the restart, I think. That might seem we lose Piastri's points. It's going to jumble up the entire grid. Aston Martin are going to want this. And so are Red Bull. And Pedro, if it goes on countback, McLaren are going to lose some points. The way I understand the rules are if there's countback, this last 2 laps didn't happen. Ted's saying it's going to get restarted, but I don't see the point. The lap they're going to do to the grid is going to be the final lap. So at this point, they're in grey territory with the rules. If they restart now, the countback is null and void. But logically, they shouldn't bother. But then the countback is in effect.
I don't know.
This is going to be debated heavily. I agree with you, Pedro. I don't see the point in a restart either. But they might.
I didn't see the point in the first place.
Well, they might just do it so they don't have to do the countback.
Right, while they decide.
Have a little snooze there. Have a little snooze. Shall we start doing our breakdown now? Because it's not going to change anything for the on-track action, is it? What do you think?
No, but you have to cancel the feed, don't you?
Yes, I do. Although I can do it another way.
What?
I can recapture it. I can just set up a new capture, new window capture. Though I can't send it to you, can I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the grid, then things might change around a bit. Karun Chandok is at Sky Race Control. What do you got for us, Karun?
Apparently, Signs wants to restart.
It's
Why?
because he's third. He thinks he can probably pip Hamilton.
Apparently, he's still in the car.
We have to get 58 laps in here. We can't stop the race as it stands currently because we need to get 58 laps in.
Oh, Crofty's saying the rules are you must attempt to do the 58 laps.
They've attempted, it didn't work. Finish it.
Well, it'd be a bit like I've walked most of the way there. I'll just come back. Imagine if you had a parcel delivered and they got to the end of your road and went, "Oh, that's close enough."
I'll run after them.
Exactly. I mean, realistically, it's going to make no difference in terms of finishing position. That's what. Okay, that's probably why Carlos wants it. See, right? I know why Carlos wants it because he's got Stroll and Alonso out of the way. So doing the new start will invalidate the countback option, hands down.
Mm.
So although there won't be any racing, this is for position. And they're now talking about switching the cars around so they're in the original start position for the restart. But some of the cars are out.
Too much faff. Oh. Going.
Oh, Stroll so almost hit the back of Carlos. But then he goes into turn 3 and it just tries to outbrake Carlos and just skidders straight off. Somewhat like a rookie, I'm afraid. Oh, muddy tyres, muddy tyres. And Jensen's just raised the point. Well, Carlos get a penalty for hitting Alonso. F1, it's never simple, is it?
Normally I'd be so switched on and I'd be like, yeah, but I'm like, what are you doing now?
Okay, so if look at now they're doing Mexican waves around the track. Okay, so my understanding. Okay, Jensen has given us the knowledge. It was red flag before the end of Sector 1. Therefore, they have to go back to the original red flag starting positions. Morning, Fred.
They do, then you. Well, that happened in Silverstone, didn't it? That one. Peugeot's crash. Was it Sector 1? It went back to the original.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Hello. I didn't.
Put it this way, we're trying from the commentary box here to get some information, and I bet you that Inspector Kravitz down in the pit lane is doing just that too.
No, we're all still waiting. The teams are all still waiting. The people who have to drive are still waiting for the FIA to make their mind up.
Yeah, the FIA have got to make a decision and quick.
Seriously combing through everything. They'll have the stewards there, the race director, the remote operations centre in Geneva as well.
Yeah. Next year's Drive to Survive. It's probably like, I don't know, they're writing down all their notes now. They're like,
Whereas when it comes to on-track action, they don't Drive to Survive don't tend to actually focus on the
oh,
on-track.
they'll focus on the 3 red flags and like they'll make it like a big Alpine, like.
Oh God!
Right.
Imagine if they were. Imagine if they are in Alpine's garage this weekend.
I wouldn't like to be.
Yeah. Chances are they'll be in Williams though. They'll be like, "Oh, Albon hit the wall."
Let's see what Twitter.
Yeah. With Drive to Survive, I don't find they're good for on-track action. They're good for the controversy around paddock.
Alfa Romeo. I'll send you the picture there. Alfa Romeo. They put "we give up." Australian Grand Prix race result, and they put Shogun New ? Bottas ?
Yeah.
Send it your way.
Thanks.
Yeah. You know why this is all going on? Do you know who's at the track this weekend?
I do. I heard.
Just bad luck.
For those that don't know, a certain figure within F1 formerly was in the paddock this weekend. Who was it, Sarah? Michael Massey is in the paddock. And it shows.
If they kept the current order and Carlos Sainz was awarded a penalty for the collision with Fernando Alonso, Hulkenberg would finish on the podium. It would be his first ever podium for Haas. How crazy would that be?
But they're not going to keep the current order, I think. This one is utter. This one is going to be meme to high hell for just the end of the race.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been like... During the middle, we could have fallen asleep, but like, the end is just like... What the hell's going on?
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, CV, there is no laps left. It will just be a formation to the end. Yeah, it would just be a safety car lap. That's it. And all of the the restart order or formation lap is going to be the order at the last red flag stoppage time start. There's a fly in the ointment of my logic there, but yeah. But minus the 2 Alpines, I think, and Logan Sargent. Easily one of the weirdest races I've seen in a long time.
And
Now we have to put them in the right order so that they can go behind the safety car to complete the final lap of the race. And when they do so, the checkered flag will come out. Nobody will be able to overtake because it's
I like that one with Rosberg.
to the grid.
there's a,
The safety car can't overtake
Mm.
the safety car, and the checkered flag will come out, and this will be the result of the race. And I hope that that is
apart from that,
as simply as I can, because quite frankly, Ted Kravitz, my mind is a little bit frazzled, just like Fernando Alonso seems to be too.
Perfect, crystal clear. Top
Thank you
job,
very much.
Crofty. I tell you what, don't
so
get
currently
later
we only have 12 runners.
because Gunther Steiner is fuming. Hulkenberg would have been P4, Crofty, had they set with the Verstappen, Hamilton, Sainz, Hulkenberg,
12 runners.
Norris, Piastri, Zhou, Bottas. So the big losers are Nico Hulkenberg and Haas, and the McLarens and the Alfa Romeo Saubers of Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas.
Right, apparently the restart order is
Will score any. Yes, they do. No, they don't.
why have they done it in numbers?
Yeah, it was car 1, car 44, wasn't it?
Yeah, 144, then 14, then 55, then 18, then 11, then 4, 27, then 81, 24, 27, 22, 77. Wait, so 1, 2. Oscar is still in the points. He's ninth.
Well, he will be now, actually, because the 2 Alpines are out.
Yeah, there's only 12 runners.
Oh, just imagine finishing. If
12.
we had 11 runners, do you know what would happen last year? Do you know who would have finished 11th?
So,
Latifi.
probably.
Bob, thank you very much for the follow. I urge you to give Miss Sarah Hawkey a follow as well. And for those that are in the chat, feel free to vote for your driver of the day. I will make it live in just a second.
Update. Race resumption behind safety car in the order of the previous start minus cars out. There'll be a rolling start, and as there will only be 1 lap left, the checkered flag will be out as soon as they come across the line. What's the point? Like, truly, like, what's the point? Like, they might as well just say, we've reverted the order. We finish like that.
Well, it is just that the formality that they're supposed to do the amount of laps, and if they can, they do.
But they have technically 58 out of 58.
No, they're on the 58th lap. They haven't done it yet.
Oh, but it says 58.
They're on it. They haven't finished it.
Why another 10 minutes?
Is it seriously another 10 minutes?
Yes.
Quite funny, if I'm honest. I wonder if Koulias has fallen asleep. Missed all of this.
Sorry, I missed some. Oh, Gunter is apparently mad. No big surprise. Well, he probably if it was the order that it was in, Carlos got a penalty, and then Meg would be on the podium. Alonso looks angry to the point he wants to exchange a few words with Carlos after the end of the race. I mean, he doesn't have to now. Gonna
Yeah.
just
He's
end
going to tell him off, though.
yeah. All the time you have to leave this.
So, my drive of the day is just now gone. Okay, who do I want driver of the day to be? Please feel free to vote.
And you know what, Jensen, you're saying, wonder if the drivers put all the kit on and stuff properly. I know you're joking. No, I know. But actually, it made me think of a serious point, which is it's easy for the teams as well to relax a bit, isn't it? Say, oh, well, we've only got to send the car off for one lap to get...
Okay, I'm going to break a trend. I am going to vote for someone.
But they can't afford for the car to have a problem
Yeah.
on this lap. Because if, for whatever
I voted.
there's an issue and the car doesn't make it around the lap, they won't be classified.
Voted.
So it is actually really important for all...
I won't look to see who you voted for yet. I want it to be a surprise.
Jackie Stewart is at the track, yeah. We saw him a bit.
I know what you're saying, Karun, but can I ask a stupid yet obvious question? Always. Given that
Thank you for voting, Flappy.
of the race, and well done, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, assuming that their cars get to the end of the formation lap. Why are we restarting?
Did Latifi score any points in the 3 years he wasted?
Not resume.
Few.
Good there.
You got a few. In Hungary, he was running in third or fourth for a long time as well, thanks to the layout of the track. But generally speaking, you got a few points.
Yeah, it's just all so unnecessary. Yeah, work wonders for Alonso, but Hulkenberg will be sad that he won't finish on the podium. Probably not.
Penalty for Carlos Sainz.
Penalty. So that means who's behind him currently? Who's behind him?
Stevie says, curious what is going to happen now. Are they going to race one lap or not? No.
They're going to
not
finish
racing.
under the safety car.
Yeah. It's literally going out around the safety car to lap 58 and then coming back in. That's all they're doing.
Stupid. Stupid.
It is a bit daft, but the rule set says they've got to do it. I mean, if you think about this on GT7, if we had a big pile up on lap 7 and they had the red flag implemented, it wouldn't give us the... It wouldn't finish the race until we finish lap 8.
I think Carlos just was told he got a penalty. Did you see his reaction?
I didn't actually see Carlos's reaction, no.
He was just like, oh. Yeah. Carlos, the penalty.
Unfortunately, I think Carlos doing that is kind of not cause the entire thing, but it's definitely helped.
It was one of the
knock-on effects.
I was going to say it's one of the first accidents, whatever you want to say they are, that restart. Nope.
Turn 2 incident involving Gasly and Ocon under investigation.
The crash. That's about it.
If you want my opinion, we're going to get it. Technically, Gasly has rejoined unsafely.
Technically, and obviously, inch a little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit. Enough to interlock wheels.
Interlock wheels until the same corner of each car. And Pedro says, if they're going to go and start the race in the previous order, feels a bit harsh. But that is what they do on a red flag if it's before Sector 1. That's just what that's what has always happened. Ooh. Read that one, Sarah.
Gasly gets enough penalty points. Yeah, he's dangerously close.
Interesting. Did you hear that from Signs?
I had a
He
lot
was
of
begging.
pleas, yeah.
Yeah, he was begging, don't give me the penalty. Unfortunately, you've caused the incident. And as Crofty is explaining now, and I was actually about to say it, they will have a right of review, the same as what Aston complained about and appealed the verdict of the stewards in Saudi Arabia. The only thing Signs can do now, and this is a bit dirty, is back up the pack a couple of seconds. I think you're allowed 10 car lengths, and then gun it to the line and try and not get passed by everyone.
My opinion is it's fair, but it's not fair at the same time. It's fair, obviously, because he caused a collision, but it's not fair that he's not going to have the chance to build that gap.
I think they can go wrong now is if someone else blows up on the way to the start line.
I have no idea, but do they turn the cars off during red flags?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If they're over on fuel, they are allowed to run the cars, so they can burn some fuel.
I was gonna say, because especially the 3 red flags we've like, that can't be good for the cars if they're turning them off and then turning them back on.
It's not, but these cars are better at restarting than, say, like the V8s and the V10s were, because they had a clutch which would just melt and blow up, and the hydraulics would, everything would get hot.
Mm.
I mean, now they have all these mobile ice packs and dry ice and fans and whatnot. If it's a rolling start procedure, the safety car may peel into the pit lane.
But they wouldn't be able to overtake, would they? Until they're past the line.
The safety car line, which is before the checkered line. So we're going to get one corner of action.
Way.
This has happened before. This has happened at Monaco in 2012. No, 2011. 2010 or 2011. Schumacher passed Alonso at the last corner. Anthony Noakes. And he then got penalised because he passed him before the safety car line. Not the checkered line, the safety car line.
Yeah, Stevie Pedro told us about that. That's what I said, he's dangerously close if he gets a penalty. Like,
yeah. And Stevie, it's a safety car line, not the start-finish line. That's the only difference. They're 2 different lines. They have said no overtaking. Okay. That's fine.
oh, that's blinding.
It's a bit bright.
Can you change to a different camera already? Oh, there we go.
The only thing we haven't had in this race is weather. That's the only thing.
Imagine if it was a wet race.
suppose, or not. If I was Yuki Tsunoda, I'd just hang back a little bit, just so I could put my name in the record books.
Exactly. Should we move on?
Nico Rosberg's in that record book for that record about 3 times.
Yeah. Oh,
to be fair, the fans in front of our commentary box, now the cars have gone through, are all making their way to try and get on.
I don't know why they're weaving to warm their tyres. There's literally no point to it.
Somebody needs to hold them back because the cars will be going across the line and doing another lap before they get back into the pits again.
yeah. Luckily, no one's actually going on the track, but they are climbing the fence here.
Yeah.
Obviously not supposed to happen.
So we've stopped the teams celebrating on the fence, and now we've got fans on the fence.
Oh yeah, and it's the first race that they can't go up on
Around then the
fences.
corner, and they rise for Max Verstappen, and they rise for Lewis Hamilton, and they rise for Fernando Alonso. 3 world champions.
You know what? I'm sad about that. That
Verstappen wins.
it looks so bare, like with no teams just getting up and celebrating.
I agree with you. However, what they did in Saudi, it did look unsafe. I think we spotted it on the finish last time that they were literally almost falling onto the track. That was unsafe. Right. So we go straight onto the breakdown. Get this over and done with.
He was the deserving winner today. Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. Well, a great second for them.
Yeah. And well done.
Yeah. Well, it took a while, but win is a win. You take it. Good weekend.
Yeah, no, well done, mate. That was a bit of a lengthy one, but well navigated. Our first win here since 2011, so and your first win, Andy, so well done and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's really good weekend for us. Really happy with that.
So Max Verstappen makes
Right, for anyone who's around, please feel free to vote for your driver of the day, please.
at turn 2.
If you haven't already.
So there's officially a red flag flying there because we've got a car stranded on the track. He's finished, and he's finished 7th, and he scores some big points. There he goes for the Haas team.
Links in my chat and Sarah's chat.
And Sergio Perez gets driver of the day, starting from the pit lane to finish 5th.
Is that a Haas?
He was the one that got the overtakes done, Jensen. A lot of them turn 11.
Yeah, he did some good moves. I think there are a lot of great drives out there today. It's difficult to pick, but you always love the guy that
What happened then?
through to the front.
Blow up?
Yeah, great
Blow over?
by McLaren. That's
Was Hulkenberg stopped on track?
Somewhere.
All right. I hope he's got enough fuel in the car because otherwise that's a disqualification.
Mm.
Thank you so much. So proud of you all. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing. Really well done there, Lewis. Yeah, it's a long afternoon, but yeah, that's definitely deserved that result.
Well driven, Lewis. Very, very well.
Thanks, Toto.
Always under control.
Right, Miss Hawkey, shall we do the breakdown?
George Russell with a
Get over and done with. What do you think?
the man that was leading the race, and the red flag, the first red flag went against him. The mechanical failure cost him, obviously.
Shall I take it as a yes?
Second place on merit for Lewis Hamilton.
Mhm.
Energize him and
Right, let's get it over and done with.
It's really good to hear him so happy.
So hold on.
Wants to win, obviously, like everyone out there, but really, really happy with his result there. I don't think they expect.
Boom. You see that right?
Come back. Ah,
Go. I'm ready whenever you are. Okay. Say when you're ready. Yeah. Hulk, stop. We need to have 1 litre of fuel in the car. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Ready.
Right. In no particular order, I'm going to do them as they've popped up down the bottom there. I have the qualifying and the race classifications up, so we should be able to burn through this. So starting with Norris, who started 13th. It's come home 6th. Shout out a grade, and we're just going to go through this.
I think Good overtakes B. In that McLaren, maybe a B.
Done. Carlos Sainz.
He was doing alright until obviously pressing into Alonso.
Yeah, 5th, and then ended up 12th.
D.
I think it is a C because he's had one mistake all weekend, but it's a very costly one.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on. Sergio Perez, who started last, 20th, has come home 5th.
It's not bad, is it?
In the fastest car. It's a B, strong B.
I agree.
But he did outbrake himself into the first corner on a restart, but that was chaos. Put him behind Lando, I think. Alonso, who started... We're going to burn through this, by the way. Started 4th, come home with a podium. And Perez was lucky to get 5th.
B.
Strong B.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything wrong all day. Cool. Bottas, who finished 11th out of 12 runners and started 19th. But we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dropouts. So effectively, he is exactly where he started, just on the numbers side.
D, maybe.
Yeah. I was going to say exactly the same thing. Hulkenberg started 10th, has come home 7th. Low B?
A lot. I'd say C. A lot of no runners.
The ones that would have been in front of him, Gasly, Russell, Leclerc. So 3, 10th. I think he would have come... Yeah, okay, C. He's done nothing wrong all day. He did move quite viciously on Albon, I think it was. Was it Albon? No, not Albon. Norris, wasn't it, earlier? Yeah, C. Could have done better in that. Okay, Strolly boy. Started 6th, has come home 4th, but did yeet himself off at turn 3.
I'll go C, maybe.
Yeah. It's a bit uninspiring, isn't it? So C is kind of like the naughty boys almost this week. Okay, Albon, he was out fairly early on with a big spin, which I'm going to give up on the idea that was a rear wing failure. That is just damage. Because he was off one corner, then off the next corner, yada, yada, yada. But he'd started 8th and was the second out.
Running quite high for a second.
He was running very high.
Yes, C then.
I'm going to go with a D because he yeeted himself off the track. I mean, you can run as high as you want if you crash twice in 2 corners.
True.
C or D?
High D.
High D. Above
High
Bottas.
D.
High D! Right. Nick De Vries, who started 15th, ended up out. I can't remember why. It must have been that chaos. Non-spectacular. Had an incident with... Who did he climb over the back of?
One, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know whose
I don't know.
fault that was, though.
Yeah. I think
Yes,
it's
just-
the.
What are
I
you
think
gonna
it's
say?
C. Or is it a D?
Maybe I think maybe a high, maybe low C.
Shame I can't put him in between. D it is. Okay.
Sergeant hit him on the restart. That's why.
Oh yeah, he did. He had a lot of incidents. Should we be benefit the doubt C then?
Well, Pedro just said De Vries was comfortably last before the race stopped.
D it is then. Okay, next one. K-Mag, who started 14th and yeeted himself off the track, took his tyre off.
Another red flag.
Yeah, falls of the red flag. The second one. Not a good performance from him, I think. He was behind Hulk all day. I think it's easily a D. Yeah. Done. I'm going to put him behind Album. Yeah. Okay, Ocon started 11th. Collided with Gasly, not necessarily his fault, but behind Gasly all day. I don't think he was even really running into points, was he? He was like 10th or 11th. He was behind Perez, who was in 9th. He must have been 10th or 11th.
I think he was 10th and Piastri was 7th.
Yeah. What are you feeling on the grade?
Maybe think a high D, low C.
Okay, Zhang Guoyu, I said that wrong. Zhou Guanyu, who started 17th, rather. Finished 9th, got points. But if you take the 8 people out, that would be roughly where he started.
Mm.
But only one of them would have been behind him. C, just for a quiet weekend. He has done better than the people that have crashed.
Yeah, go on then.
Cool. Logan Sargent. D.
Maybe wasn't really much from him this week.
He did take someone out.
True.
Do you know what? I think I might stretch to that. Just an E, just for the sheer fact he's had a couple of really bad weekends. He's taken himself off in qualifying a couple of times this weekend, last weekend. I know I'm not valuing it on that, but he's also then taken someone out at the restart, so he's showing he's a rookie. He is. Okay, Leclerc staying in an A because he did half a lap. We're saying that he crashed himself out. No, did he? No, it doesn't matter. Let's move on.
No, he didn't.
But we're not going to grade him anyway. Piastri, 16th.
I'd say a solid C, you know. We saw him do that a good move on. Who was it? Who was it that he did a move on?
Can't remember, but I do remember watching it. I'm thinking high C, low B. Just the sheer fact. Home pressure, first home race, rookie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like all of this, and gone racing.
Got points. Yeah.
High C.
I
High
see.
C. Okay, George Russell.
I mean, he was leading the race, then he was 7th, then he DNF'd.
Whom was the cause of a virtual safety car when his engine blew up. He was easily, by our own rules, we said that people need to do a quarter or a third of the race to get classified. And he was out.
It was
After the first red flag, wasn't he? Okay, so I think we can just about grade him. He'd done nothing wrong. He had a good start. Give him a weak B. Or a C. I'm thinking B. He was leading the race. He did take Max Verstappen into the first corner.
Low B, high C, maybe, I don't know. I'm going to decide.
I'm going to go with B, C, same as Piastri, because we didn't see enough of him. Okay, Gasly. Well,
He was doing quite well until.
Yeah. Started 9th, was running in 5th or 6th, and then missed the corner at the restart, last one, and then took out his teammate by rejoining unsafely, which he'll probably get a suspension for, we think. It'd be hard. I could see him anywhere between B, C, and D. For his racing, B. For his crash, a D. And you could easily just even it out.
Didn't.
Done. I mean, Ocon. It's a lucky C. It's a lucky C. Okay, Hamilton.
Probably say B.
Done.
Didn't really do anything wrong, but the Mercedes pace is just not there. Cool.
Yep, agree with that. Yuki Tsunoda started 12th, ended up in the points at 10th. But I think he had a poor race, if I'm honest.
A lot of non-runners, so
Yeah.
already.
We can't put him below. We can't put him below Gasly.
I'm on par then.
Yeah, it's got to be a C then. Max Verstappen.
I'd say a high B, because he did have that off
He did.
the grass.
He did. I'll put him between Norris and Hamilton. Those kind of like about equal, all of them lot, aren't they?
Did get the fastest lap at the end.
Yeah, but he always done.
No, I said who did get the fastest lap? Obviously, wouldn't they have had to take it from a few laps back?
That is a good question, and I don't know the answer.
Or would they have took it from that lap? But that lap would have been so much slower than fastest lap.
Checo got it.
Oh.
Yeah. And Stevie said with all the drivers going off for turn 1, that was a and Verstappen. Oh, I see what you're doing here. That was community service, just cutting the grass a bit. I see what you're doing there, Stevie. Okay. Well, no really exceptional drives today. Some good ones, but a lot of average ones and a lot of screw ups.
Yeah.
Race out of 10.
If I'm being completely honest, I reckon, I don't know. I think it's gonna be my lowest one so far, with maybe a 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 5 as well. The chaos at the end, the starts weren't great, as Stevie has said. It was entertaining at the end, but not necessarily good.
Yeah. My justification on that is like, one thing it's entertainment, but one thing it's obviously racing as well. Like, some of the decisions I thought were questionable, even though they are in the rules, but like I thought they were questionable.
Yeah, at some point you think logic would take over and you'd go, okay, that's it at the end.
But yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna rate it like that. Actually, I was gonna say I'd never rate a race probably below a 3 or a 4. But then we've got a long season ahead, so I won't say that. I don't know. It's just like you say, that during the race there was a point where I was like, nothing's going on, and then everything happened towards the end. I think some of the red flags were not needed.
Yeah, first one definitely.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe the track's not as wide as it makes it out to be. Maybe the marshal posts are a bit hard, I guess, on the bits that with the gravel and K-Mag's incident. Maybe I don't know. It just seems a lot of like, obviously they needed to clean the track, clear it. It just took them forever.
It did, and that didn't need to happen, that first one.
No.
Magnussen's arguably did need to happen, and with the first one, the precedent set. And what was the middle one? No, that was the middle one. And the final one was because of the guys all taking each other out. Which is what we'd expect from the first race of the year at Australia, not the third.
Yeah, just I don't know how would you even classify that. It's like they were all pushing for a 2-lap dash and it have just got going.
All too over ambitious. It's all can gain a few places here. And Logan Sargent going into the back of someone, that's just experience, I think. And Gasly cutting across the grass, coming back on and flooring it, knowing it's only 2 laps to go. Ocon's next to him. It's too late. Can you hear that?
No.
Alexa, shut up. It thought I just said, cover the mic. Play It's Too Late, which is a song. Shut up.
Too early.
Right. Right. We want to go for a snooze.
Apart from that, I think, what was it, the second restart where they all bunched up? That was a bit like, ooh.
A lot happened.
Yeah, a lot happened, but not a lot in the same.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this race for the shit show that it was. By it.
Yeah. A fustercluck. The rules were followed and implemented, I think, correctly, but I think there probably needs to be a rule there saying if there is no Flappy, we're not going to play peanut butter jelly time. But if there is a non-opportunity to actually go racing, they don't restart. I mean, that last restart was pointless. Absolutely pointless. But that was only, I think, avoid the red flag countback scenario, which that whole rule set needs looking into. So, yeah. Right. Any final thoughts, or shall we leave this and go raid someone?
No. Apart from like the stuff at the start and the stuff at the end, questionable middle. That race was just meh.
It was.
So we haven't, for one of the first times, we haven't had like an outright A, like the best driver of the day. Not necessarily driver of the day, but the best achiever in the race. We haven't really had that.
You're quite right. And it was down to the strategy. The hard tyres were just shoved on after the first red flag, and that kind of killed the race. It was just all drivers were like, no, we're not pitting. I mean, at no point did any of the top drivers go, I'm going to chuck on a set of mediums after the hard tyres were 30 laps old and go for A, the fastest lap, and B, try and repass everyone, which they would have the tyres to do it. They just didn't bother. So, yeah, strategy led to a boring race on this time. I do agree with you. And that's resulting in very average drives from everyone.
Yep. I agree. few good memes there. I'm sure will come with it. But
Yeah.
on a 4-week break now.
Yeah,
The
I
next
know.
one.
No Chinese Grand Prix. So yeah, we will now go and take our leave, I guess. But
Yeah.
we will be back later on.
And I'm sure you'll put something in the meantime.
Well, we've got our career mode later. You'd forgotten about that, hadn't you? Should we leave that to about 2 o'clock?
I've got race later on as well, so maybe like 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock it is. All right, we'll be back at 1 o'clock with our career mode GP Australia round 3 for the Aston Martin.
Yay!
Hey, I like this track, so I don't care. Oh, yeah.
Here we
Right.
raiding out.
Yeah, I was thinking Abe.
Yeah, can do.
4 to 5. And we'll go with that. Thank you, everyone. Stevie, thank you for the resub. It's been memorable, if just for the memes. So I'm going to start the raid. Sarah, thank you very much. I look forward to the next one in a month.
Oh.
I'm waving,
time.
Sarah. I'm waving. You're over there to me. Hang on, no, wait. You're over there to me. I've got that right.
By the right way?
You're over
I don't know.
there. I don't know if where I am on your screen. I'm probably waving the wrong way.
I have no idea.
Bye.
Bye. See you in a month. Actually, no, see you later. And then in a month.
Or literally like a couple of hours. Bye. There's always one.
See you later.